Another disheartening scam video, this time featuring a collector's booster box, has surfaced, showing us that no product is safe from the scourge of online scamitude. And this leads to an interesting question. Is Wizards of the Coast going to discontinue their relationship with Amazon and start selling directly to the consumer?
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. My friends, I hope the day finds you well. I am here again to talk about the current scourge of the repack scams that are happening on Amazon. Now, I have just finished watching a video where someone purchased a Zendikar Rising collector booster box from Amazon, and they recorded themselves opening up the box, but even more so, they recorded themselves actually opening the package they got from Amazon all the way to opening the booster box. And I'm going to put a link to it in the description so that you can go and watch the video for yourself so we're all up to speed. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't want to go and watch the video, I will describe what happens. Buddy gets the bubble mailer. He opens the bubble mailer up and he pulls out the Zendikar Rising collector booster box. And immediately there is a problem. Right away, you can see that there are 0 of Wizards of the Coast little protective marks that are located on the plastic outer wrapping, right? So this thing has definitely been resealed. You can actually hear it when the package is being opened, when the box is being unwrapped. If you're familiar with the sound of regular Magic booster box wrapping coming off, which I guess is a pretty unique thing to be familiar with. But either way, if you're familiar with it, you will instantaneously notice that the sound is all wrong. So right off the bat, when you hear that sound, you're like, oh, that's not good. First of all, you've got the fact that the tampering logos are non-existent. Then you've got the sound of the shrink wrap, right? And then most importantly, you've got when the box is opened and right away, this poor fellow pulls out the packs and they're already opened. And the resealer, they didn't even care, man. They didn't even try. When we talked about the previous scam ones where the packs had been slashed along the bottom of the packs, it's like, okay, they tried to make it look like this was legitimate and they tried to put the proper tamper seals back on. These guys weren't even trying, aside from the fact of just re-shrink wrapping the package. And it did show up in a weird little extra plastic bag as well. But this leads to a major problem for Magic the Gathering, right? This is a terrible consumer experience. And that's the opposite of what you want under any conditions. But when you're dealing with a collector booster box, which is inherently far more expensive than a regular booster box, it's supposed to be a premium experience. These are the whale type products, right? Wizards of the Coast has got into whaling lately. They are Captain Ahab sailing the seas, searching for their whales full of money, right? So collector booster boxes are a way to get way more money for way fewer packages. You have to make fewer cards for these collector boxes, right? So under any circumstance, when somebody gets one of these sort of products, it causes negative feedback. Now, I don't mean specifically negative feedback automatically to Wizards of the Coast, but within the individual, it leads to a very poor experience. You have ordered this incredibly premium product, and now you're having a miserable experience. Now, on one hand, obviously, the fault does not entirely lay with Wizards of the Coast. The fact of the matter is that as Magic increases in value, as these cards become more valuable, the idea of scamming people becomes more and more relevant in terms of it's like financially lucrative, right? If you can run a Magic scam, you can get a decent bit of cash depending on what you can get out of these boosters, which makes collector's boosters a big juicy target. But the problem is it doesn't feel like Wizards of the Coast is currently doing enough to safeguard customers against this happening. There's a number of different steps that they can take that haven't yet been taken. Now, one of them I've heard about, but can't actually verify because I haven't worked with Amazon and I don't know exactly how things operate. But apparently, Amazon offers a customer service to their clients like Wizards of the Coast and other big companies that make a ton of product, where you can essentially have your product like set off to the side and separate from everybody else who was selling the same product. So any resellers who are selling Magic the Gathering or anything like that, the product would all be kept separate. So anything that would like basically be purchased by a scammer or a regular non-scammer individual and is returned to Amazon, that stuff would be kept separately and marked as used, damaged, whatever it is, right? But either way, it would be kept separate from the genuine stock that was sent by Wizards of the Coast. Another thing that Wizards needs to do, which we've already discussed, is they need to take their tamper-proof counterfeiting measures and extend it to the entirety of the plastic wrap. Every single box that they send out, every product they send out should have a full coating of this anti-tampering sort of setup. Otherwise, it's becoming too easy for people to circumvent this. And like I said, it creates a negative feeling inside the individuals who get these boxes. These are your biggest customers. These are the ones who are willing to splash out on your most expensive products. But every time this happens, there's going to be certain people who, even though it's the scammer doing it, they're going to just get a bad taste in their mouth about the product. If I spent upwards of $300 to $400 for a booster box, and it comes out to me and it's damaged and ruined, and I look at it and go, okay, so now I have to spend more of my time and theoretically more of my money mailing this back. I don't know how Amazon's returns work. I don't know if it's like postage paid by them. I really don't know. But either way, it's the additional hassle of having to return the product and get your money back, or wait for a replacement. And if you wait for a replacement, what's to say you're not going to get another box from the scammed pile, right? So we have a scenario where even if Wizards of the Coast does take this special wrapping and extend it to all of the box, that wouldn't help in a situation like this. I believe, now obviously I don't know for a fact, but I believe that Amazon employees, first of all, aren't going to have the level of interest in paying attention to, is this package properly sealed? Like, somebody who doesn't know anything about Magic the Gathering and doesn't handle this product frequently isn't probably going to be aware of the anti-tampering. They're going to get the sealed box back. They're going to look at it and go, yep, this looks brand new. Toss it on the pile, ship it back out. On top of that, I imagine the Amazon employees are very, very busy. I don't know if you've heard the stories about them having to use like plastic bottles as washrooms and stuff. I don't know exactly what the level is at Amazon, but I understand from the rumors that it's go, 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 right? So under those scenarios, how much time are you really going to have to spend worrying about this and going, okay, because Amazon's a gigantic beast, and let's be real, Magic the Gathering is a drop in the bucket for them. Amazon is a godsend in some ways for Wizards of the Coast because it allowed them to kind of cut down on they used to have this thing called Wizards Direct. So you could, if you were an LGS, you could order boxes from a distributor, or you could order boxes straight from Wizards of the Coast. Now, most of the time it was easier to just go through distributor, but either way, they had that direct to store setup. You couldn't, as a regular consumer, buy them from Wizards of the Coast, but they had that set up. Then they made the deal with Amazon, and now everything is done through Amazon. But Amazon makes it much easier to do these repack scams. When you're dealing with LGSs, if I go into an LGS and buy a box from them, and then I try and go and take it back, there's a few different things that could happen. First of all, they could say, no, I'm not going to take it back. This looks like it's tampered with. Or they could say, okay, you know what, we're going to take this back. And then they end up reselling it to somebody else, and somebody else comes back and is like, yo, what's the deal, dude? This box is totally messed up. Why did you sell me a box like this? And then the store owner's going to go, wait a minute. That was that guy who sold me that box. So he's only ever going to get to pull the scam like once at any given LGS. But with Amazon, you can continually go through this process over and over and over. And as Magic prices climb, because they're just going to keep going up, let's be very, very genuine about the truth of the situation. And that is Wizards of the Coast is on a march upwards to keep moving the prices up. They've specifically stated that even the lowest level products are going to be getting a price increase in the near the end of the year with the Innistrad sets, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of buried in some WPN announcement in one little sentence, but we are looking at price increases. So as this goes up, you have more incentive to make sure that you don't run into problems. So Amazon, like I said, especially if the situation where you can have your product kept separately doesn't exist, and that's just a myth, because again, I don't know that. If that doesn't exist, then there is no real way for Wizards of the Coast to protect themselves from scammers doing this send back scenario, as long as Amazon is the giant uncaring middleman, right? Now, I'm not saying that Amazon ultimately doesn't care about doing a good job. I just mean, in the overall grand scheme of things, this is all going to get lost in the shuffle, right? So we enter into another scenario where Wizards of the Coast has to go, okay, so how do we keep our whales happy? How do we keep these prices flowing upwards without people kind of saying, all right, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with this, right? So look at what's going on right now with Secret Lairs. Secret Lairs are Wizards' direct-to-consumer single vector, right? This is the way that Wizards of the Coast has decided to sell to the general public, right? Here you go. Boom. You can buy these. You can buy these. You can buy these. We're putting these little box sets out. We're putting these little box sets out. And so they're building up the systems that they need to be able to deliver these cards, right? Because it seems like, and I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like over time, the Secret Lair system has become a bit smoother overall. Now, there are still hiccups here or there, but at the very beginning, it wasn't going very well for them. So on one hand, you have the fact that Secret Lairs are a demonstrably successful product, right? Wizards of the Coast discontinues products that aren't successful. Secret Lair isn't stopping anytime soon. It allows them to look at the secondary market, go, boom, I'm going to take these cards, put them in the box, we can sell them for this much, and with a few exceptions, like when they banned Uro and Uro was one of the Secret Lairs, there's not really any problem for them that way. So it's totally viable that Wizards of the Coast could start to sell draft boxes, set boxes, collector's boxes, everything directly to the consumer. And if you think this is an outlandish concept, understand, they've already done this in the past. It may have kind of faded from people's memory, but do you guys remember the special Mythic Edition boxes? Now, that ended in a huge debacle, let's be real. The whole lawsuit thing that spawned as a result of that. But the lawsuit was because they were going through eBay and trying to sell direct to consumers, and they allowed way more people to place offers, or not place offers, I should say, place orders than they actually had product on hand, and then they had to do a bunch of cancellations. They couldn't meet the orders, so there was a big class action lawsuit. Now, I don't know what happened as a result of that lawsuit. I don't know if it's still ongoing, but I do know that we've seen them sell booster boxes directly in the past. And the Mythic Edition booster boxes sold quite well. If you don't know what they were your 36 card booster box, but some of the packs were specifically created to house special edition planeswalkers. So they had, like, you could get variant artworks of, I think they put like 8 different planeswalkers in each of these. What was that? What it was? 8 or 12? Either way, they put a significant amount of planeswalkers with special variety art into the mythic boosters, or mythic boxes, I should say, and sold them that way. The only thing that stopped it was the lawsuit. So they've already experimented with selling direct to consumer. And on top of that, if they're doing things that way, they're probably going to get to keep more of the money. I don't know how much cheaper it makes it for Wizards to ship everything off to Amazon and then allow Amazon to worry about fulfillment. But, like I said, Magic is becoming more and more expensive. The damage that this does to Wizards of the Coast's reputation when these boxes get out, the thing is, consumers can be very unreasonable. You know, some people are going to go, okay, you know what, this isn't so much Wizards' fault, this is the scammers' fault, and I don't like that this happened, but I'm not going to blame Wizards. But there's a bunch of people who will turn around and go, look, man, it's your responsibility to make sure that if I order a product made by you, that I'm getting the genuine article. I'm not buying it from Slappy John down the street who's got an eye patch over his eye and he's always wheezing and stuff and running scams. I'm literally buying this from a huge, supposedly reputable corporation that is selling it to another huge, like Amazon is a huge corporation, much bigger than Wizards of the Coast. So you've got Wizards of the Coast, which is a $500 million company. You've got Amazon, which is a billion and billions of dollars company, and you have a scenario where people aren't able to get the products the way they're supposed to. So with the loss of consumer faith, it is foreseeable that at a certain point, Wizards of the Coast could go, let's pull it back from Amazon. And who knows? I have no idea what their plan is. Maybe they leave it with Amazon for a while, let a bunch of the LGSs kind of fall away like they have been until they're only left with a handful of premium LGSs in the biggest metropolitan areas, and then just supply them directly and let consumers come straight to them. Because at that point, why really even have LGSs, right? If you're selling the booster boxes and all these products direct to consumers, why do you even need the LGS? And I give Wizards credit for some of the initiatives that they've done recently to support LGSs. But at the same time, I recognize that this is a corporation. And at the highest levels, the people who are there at Wizards of the Coast are only focused on profit. And if they're going to make more money selling boxes directly to us, and that indirectly causes the end of all, or at least the majority of LGSs, they're going to do it. And we've just been through this entire world shutdown, which has shown that LGSs aren't a necessary part of the ecosystem, which is something that astounded me because I personally have been going to the same LGS for almost 30 years. And LGSs to me are an intrinsic part of the Magic experience. But I've come to realize the cold hard truth is that that's not the reality for the majority of people who are involved with Magic the Gathering. So I do genuinely see a scenario where Wizards of the Coast could go 100% direct to consumer. Now, that's obviously open to interpretation, right? That may or may not happen. So let me know your thoughts, my friends. Big shout out to all my patrons. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. And I will see you all, my friends, for the next video.